How do you extend your H-1B1 status in the US or renew your H-1B1 visa? My name is Emily Sumner with Sumner Immigration Law, and today I'd like to touch on both of those points. The first thing to keep in mind is the difference between the visa and the I-94. We actually have a separate video on that we'll link in the comments. But in general, the visa is the document that you present to be admitted to the United States. And the I-94 is a record that's created when you enter that indicates how long you're able to stay in the United States. The H-1B1 visa issued from Chile should be valid for 18 months, and you should be admitted for a period of 1 year. So keep in mind that those two validity dates are different. You have three options for extending your H-1B1 status in the United States. The first is you can apply for a new H-1B1 visa or visa renewal outside of the United States, so at the US consulate outside of the United States. That involves presenting the certified LCA, the support letter, basically the similar process that you went through when you initially applied for the H-1B1 visa. The disadvantage of that is that you have to leave the United States. That process to renew the H-1B1 visa, even if you receive the interview waiver, that is, even if you don't have to go in person for an interview, that process may take several weeks or possibly longer. So it can be disruptive if you can't take a lot of time away from work. The advantage of that process is that once you complete that process, you'll have a new H-1B1 visa stamped in your passport. And keep in mind that you have to have a valid visa in your passport in order to travel internationally and re-enter the United States. So that is an advantage of going through this process if that's possible for you. The second possibility is to leave the United States. So this is a possibility to extend your H-1B1 status. To leave the United States before your H-1B1 visa expires and before your H-1B1 I-94 expires, and come back in to the United States with the still valid H-1B1 visa. It should be that when you re-enter the United States, the officer at the port of entry will give you an I-94 that is valid for another year. Your visa won't be extended because you haven't gone to the US consulate, but your I-94 should be extended. This is a possibility. It's an relatively easy way to get your status extended, especially if you plan to travel anyway. It doesn't always work. Every now and then I've had clients who travel outside the United States and come back in, and their I-94 is not extended for an additional year or whatever the relevant period is for other visa classifications. So keep in mind this isn't foolproof, but it can be a way to have your status extended without having to go to the US consulate and have your H-1B1 visa stamped again. The third way that you can extend your H-1B1 status in the United States is to your employer would submit a petition to extend the H-1B1 status in the United States. The advantage there is you do not have to leave the United States. You can stay here, you can keep working, you can actually keep working as long as you timely file the extension, which means you file before the I-94 expires. You can actually keep working for up to 240 days beyond the expiration of the I-94, which is great. So the advantage is you don't have an interruption in your ability to work. You don't have to leave the United States. The disadvantage is while it does extend your I-94, you can ask for an extension for another year. It will not extend your visa. So if you wanted to travel internationally, you have to make sure that you have the valid visa. And if later you wanted to travel internationally and your visa is not valid, you would have to go to the US consulate, have the visa stamped, and then come back in. So those are the three ways that you can extend your status. If you are in the United States in H-1B1 status, the only way that you can extend your visa, unfortunately, is to go to the US consulate outside of the United States. As of right now, we don't have the ability to renew visas here in the United States just to extend status. I am here to help. I'm here to answer any questions that you might have. Our team is here to answer questions that you might have. We want you to feel empowered and supported throughout the immigration process. If you have not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do that so you don't miss future updates. Otherwise, send us an email if you have questions, especially if you're one of our clients. Please let us know what questions you have and how we can help you. We look forward to assisting you. Until next time, my name is Emily Sumner with Sumner Immigration Law.